So when you raise money for these deals, you guys then partner with a sponsor who's put a deal together. How does that mechanics of that work?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we limit the types of sponsors that we work with, right? So typically sponsors will have a couple $100 million in assets under management. If they're a developer, they'll have developed, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of sort of development. So we're not a place or a platform for a sponsor's first transaction, right? It's just not the right fit for us. We want sponsors who are vetted. We want sponsors who really know their markets, really know their asset classes. So those sponsors will come to us and they'll usually come with a transaction. So most times they've got a transaction under contract. So they just signed an LOI, or maybe they just executed a purchase and sale agreement, a PSA. And they come to us and they say, we've got 30 days of due diligence, and then we've got 30 days to close, and we've got a 15 or 30-day extension thereafter, right? That's how most real estate transactions in the US are structured. And so we'll underwrite alongside them, right? So we'll underwrite that transaction. We'll dig into the merits of the transaction. And really what we're looking for is, do we think that this business plan can be executed against, right? Like there's no guarantees in real estate investing. There's always risk anytime you look at, the potential for high returns. But we're trying to make an assessment of could this become reality, right? Is this a viable business plan? Is this a viable model? Do the assumptions make, sense on sort of a gut check level? And so that's what we'll do kind of alongside that real estate company. They'll go do all the third parties. They'll finish their due diligence. They'll typically go, hard on the transaction. And then they'll put together offering materials, which will ultimately end up on the website. So a private placement memorandum, an operating agreement, usually an investment deck around the highlights of the transaction, the location, the market, the employers, the business plan, right? What are they actually doing? That's going to look very different if it's a value add deal versus a, opportunistic or development deal. And then we'll work with them to get messaging out to the investors on the Realty Mogul platform, right? So we'll send a series of emails, we'll send text messages, we'll do digital media and digital advertising, and we'll start to have conversations with investors around what are the merits of this deal? What are the risks of this deal? Is this the right, risk reward profile? What are the investors' objectives? To really see if that transaction is a good fit for that investor. And the investor obviously has access to all the information, including the PPM that they can review. And then we've built a transaction management technology on our platform so that it's really seamless for the investor,